2024 recorded a whole lot of firsts for the Cybertruck. First, one people could actually drive. That was a big one. That was like a huge one we were waiting a long time for. But then as soon as it came out, everybody started doing crazy things. Raphael was part of an expedition that went all the way to the Arctic Circle, along with Justin and Gary, and of course me, in the form of a cardboard cutout twice. So of course, how cool is that?
And Nancy.
And Nancy, thank you. And Nancy, of course, was there for the adventure. And what an adventure it was. A lot of videos on that. I'll probably throw up some B-roll. It was cool. But on the way back, you got to meet with the engineering team. We're going to talk about all that today and some other Cybertruck things. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. So, Raphael, what a cool trip. First of all, how many miles did you do, you think, for your whole Florida to Santa's workshop and back?
Well, by the time we got back, we were almost at 50,000 miles.
How many miles you got now?
60,500. Yeah.
You see, when they said, 8-year, 100 and whatever thousand mile warranty, it's like, oh, okay, 2 years, got it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we ran out of the basic warranty, in about 10 months.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Truck's doing good. On the way back, you got to meet the engineering team.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
It was an incredible experience. As we were heading south from the Arctic Ocean, passed through the Arctic Circle boundary again, and then continued south through the Northwest Territories and the Yukon. Eventually, Tesla reached out to us. They wanted us to meet with the Palo Alto engineering team. And we found out about this when we were in Squamish, Canada. So we had about 28 hours of driving to do to make it there on time. And we made it, actually. So it took us a day nonstop driving from Squamish, Canada to Palo Alto in California.
Wow. And that's hectic. But if they have availability, you got to make it work.
Yeah, we figured this was a good chance for us to provide feedback to the team because they wanted to know what went right, what went wrong. And to be honest, nothing really went wrong with it. We did have some feedback that we wanted to give them to make the truck even better. And that's pretty much what we did.
That's the thing is, they tested it in the cold, they tested it in the hot, they tested it in the desert, they tested it everywhere they could. But the real world is different. So what did they learn from you?
Well, so we didn't have any really challenging off-road conditions that would require feedback update on that end, but we did spend so much time on the trucks, basically living in them for 7 months straight at that point, that we found out some things that could be better for the overlanding community that owns Cybertrucks. And for example,
yes, let's hear them.
We found out that we wanted to take advantage of that self-leveling feature that the Cybertrucks have, right? When we're going to sleep, because we have a tent, you like to sleep level.
It's not kind of a human thing.
Yeah, not with your head lower than your feet, for example. So the Cybertruck has a feature for that, but that feature is dependent on the Cyber tent. Basically the tent that Tesla made for the Cybertruck, which sits halfway up on the bed. So because of that, Cyber tent mode, which is the only actual mode that levels the truck, it requires the tonneau to be open. But we don't have a Cyber tent. We have rooftop tents that sit even higher. So we have food, we have other things in the bed that we want to keep secure from both, nature, animals where we go, or people if we're leaving the truck and whatnot. And using that feature would force the tonneau to be open. So we requested if it was possible to add a feature where the tonneau could be closed when the truck is leveled. So that's kind of a feature they will roll out. They already agreed with the feedback, and they said, oh yeah, we're definitely going to do something about that. But we have a workaround, and we implement that workaround for those that do what we do and don't know about this hack. you can put the trucks in cyber tent mode. Once the truck is leveled, you can put it on jack mode, which is the service mode that prevents the suspension from moving. And then you can deactivate the cyber tent mode so that you can close the tonneau. So that's how we work around that. But that's too many steps for someone that wants to do it quick.
And I wouldn't know that, and you wouldn't know that.
Exactly.
It's, workarounds are okay, but just fix it. Any other feedback you had for them? Or since then, what would you like to see different?
It's we can live with the range that we have, but it would definitely always better to have more range, right? Especially to go to remote locations or spend more time in nature and not have to go back to the city to charge. But they are going to deploy a extended battery pack.
Are they?
I think they are. It's supposed to happen this year later. But I think the hack for that is really when the battery packs have more density.
Yes, and the new battery should be slightly lighter, which means you could either have a lighter truck or a little bit more range, or in some cases both.
Yes.
So, and that the battery chemistry is always improving. So, well, I haven't seen Tesla do anything new in batteries in 5 years, right? And you won't see it. You won't see it. That you don't see, it's an invisible part.
They optimize on a daily basis.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand that. I mean, I'm pretty sure that the Cybertrucks that are coming out now have probably better range than mine.
If you could have explained to Legacy Auto the power of over-the-air updates, the first thing they'd have done is said, "Oh my gosh, what could we sell this for?" They would have charged you for every. You would have a menu of over-the-air updates to select from and purchase all the time.
100%.
And there would be somebody who would be excited to pay for all of them.
Yep.
It's the DLC model of buying a car. Any other things they wanted to look at? They poked the car, they went all around it, they went under it.
Yeah, they looked at everything. We customize our trucks pretty
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. A whole video on that. I'll put up a clip of it right now, but people wanted to see that video.
Yeah, so they did question why we did this, why we did that, if they have a native way of doing this thing. And, we were fortunate enough for our trip to the Arctic to get sponsors that were helping us with gear. And that's one of the reasons why we had some of the gear. You don't need to rig up a Cybertruck to go far or to explore.
Well, Unplugged Performance does great work and they helped you out. But they didn't change your suspension?
No.
They just did what, wheels?
So we had custom wheels because they were just...
Because they look cool.
They look cool. They're lighter a little bit, and they are still sturdy. I did replace the tires immediately because I go off-roading a lot. So all-terrain normal tires are not the same as dedicated off-road tires. So we did that. But overall, we didn't have any mechanical updates to the truck to make it more capable. What we did was more of comfort and safety stuff. So the sleeping arrangements, the cooking arrangements, because we are self-sustained when we're out there. And also some of the emergency recovery gear. That's kind of the stuff that we were using. And that's pretty much the extent, compacted version of what updates we made.
Yeah, and that's great. So the engineering team got to see it and all that. So you leave Palo Alto and then what? Straight home from there?
No, actually.
No, there was one more stop on the way.
We did one more stop. Franz von Salzhausen wanted to see the trucks as well. So we went over there and we spent a couple of hours with the design team.
So then after getting to talk with all the engineers who really wanted to see how it held up, because you put it through its paces quite a bit, more than anyone else, before or probably since.
Yeah.
And then, so they get in the car and it's like, well, I guess we're going to drive to LA and meet Franz and the team. So you go down there. What was their impression?
The design team was more interested on the aesthetics,
You made it look pretty badass.
Yeah, and it's funny because we were chatting with Franz. At some point, we just talking to different engineering team members. But we saw Franz. He was standing like this, just looking at the truck, right? He was standing behind my truck, and Nancy stands next to him, and she goes like, "What do you think?" And he goes, "I want to go off-roading now." Which was really interesting because I told him jokingly, but kind of seriously, I can't believe that I told this to France. It's like, yeah, most people use these trucks as grocery getters, and we take it through its paces. And he goes like, that's exactly how I use it.
Yeah. Well, and the reality is, that's how most people use most trucks.
Yes.
So they got to see it. Did you learn anything from them?
Absolutely. So I think that the biggest thing that I got from that team, as well as the production engineering team, is that they're always iterating. They're always trying to figure out what's the next thing to make things better. And they're always, I was surprised at how much they told me that they look at the feedback in real time from people that are either praising or complaining about things on, say, X, for example.
Wow.
They actually look at that. They track keywords. So they know that they're looking at, for example, I also spoke to the AI team. And when you post something that says the version number of the FSD, if it's the latest, they try to look at it, see what went right, what went wrong. And they're always fixing, both from the engineering point, from the design point, and from the programming, point of view. So it's really eye-opening that they pay so much attention. I have never seen a company that pays so much attention to the customer.
And it's wild when you think of a car that, oh, I got my new 2025 whatever. That's it. That is the car.
Yeah.
And the 2026 will have 3 small improvements.
Yeah.
And we got to see it with the Model Y, where Sandy tore one down, and then got to see a build that was 5 months newer, 6 months newer, and he couldn't believe the number of changes.
Mm-hmm.
It was a completely different. It was so much that after maybe 2 years, they bought another one and tore it down.
Yeah.
And it's insane.
Yeah.
Because perfection is not a destination; it's a journey.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not moving toward it, you're doing it wrong. Was there anything that that they learned from you, that Franz learned from you?
I think so. I think they understood that not all the customers are the same. Everyone has different use cases. The way that we use it is very different to the majority of people. But they get good feedback in terms of what are the things that adventure travelers want to see on the truck, from range, from comfort stuff, space. We spoke a little bit about the fact that we can sleep on our rooftop tent, but sometimes emergencies require that, like bad weather, because we bump into that sometimes. And we sleep inside the cabin. The way that the seats are right now, they don't recline enough. And even if they were, the shape is not what you call a sleeping arrangement.
Yeah.
But no truck is designed for that particular use case. But I wouldn't be surprised if one day something changes a little bit. Maybe the seats can recline more instead of being at a small angle, so you're on a flat surface. One person, if I'm alone on the Cybertruck, for example, and I don't have it packed with stuff on the back, I can actually sleep on the second row on the floor.
Right.
I'm not that tall,
Yeah.
I'm 5'8", 5'7".
And a lot of people curl up a little.
Yeah. But for example, if the seats recline more, maybe you could come up with a temporary sleeping bed arrangement there that can fit too comfortably. So there are things that they understand, but they also have to appeal to the mass market, not just the use cases that are different, the edge cases.
Right.
But I think they're doing a really good job. The truck is very capable. As a matter of fact, today we're going to go into the intermediate to complex trail. It's going to be a lot of fun adventure. We're going to go through some river crossings and stuff like that. So we're all trying to push the envelope.
It just gives me anxiety hearing about it. Sometimes I get invited on adventures and I'm like, yeah, have fun. I am doing an off-road thing in a couple of weeks here in Oregon. So that'll be, I won't be driving. I'll just be passenger riding. And it's crazy because for a lot of these, if you want to go up a real steep hill and you're not comfortable, you just let it full self-drive up the hill.
Kind of.
What's the setting called? Hill climb or?
Yeah, it's almost like a cruise control for the.
Yeah,
so if you set it,
and it's not full self-drive. You don't just let it go.
Yeah, it allows you to concentrate on the steering, and the car would keep a constant speed. If you want to go at 3 miles per hour, for example, some routes require a slow pace, and you can concentrate on just steering. It's not the end of the world. I always like to just drive fully myself when I'm on the trails. because I can make split-second decisions with throttle and steering at the same time.
Mhm.
But it's all part of the features that we have. We have so many features on Cybertruck to go off-road. We have sand, gravel, rock, dirt, snow, all the modes that you can imagine, compounded by 3 or 4x the other settings, which is like low suspension, medium, high, extract, super high. It's like insane.
Yeah, they would have. One of the reasons it probably took so long to release is because there's so much new territory they had to cover. So the last thing I wanted to ask about is, what feature suggestions do you have, not from an off-road perspective, just generally for the Cybertruck? What would you like it to have? What would you like it to be? More range, of course.
Yeah, I think that for me, the only thing that I would love to have probably required a different car, a different vehicle. But if they make it easier for me to sleep inside the cabin, more comfortable, it would be probably better for those emergency situations when you're getting slammed by a thunderstorm or something like that, when you're in the middle of the woods. But honestly, this car is so capable, the way it drives. I could see a kind of a big SUV based on the platform of the Cybertruck, where instead of having the bed, you have an additional 1 or 2 rows, and that could turn into a travel adventure champ. That would be incredible.
The R1S version of the R1T.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that would be great, because I need, 5 seats is not adequate for my use case.
Yeah.
And I tell people that's definitely why I don't have a Cybertruck, and not because of the price.
A lot of people needed the 6-seat arrangements. I know many people that have a family that requires that, and they place their order based on the original design that they had, which counted for 6 passengers, like a driver and 5 passengers, right? Unfortunately, it didn't come out to reality, but for me, it works because it's usually me or just me and one more person in the car. But definitely a 6-seat Cybertruck would be fantastic.
Yeah. And of course, the range is impacted by all the factors. It does have good aero. It does have off-road wheels, or real beefy wheels, which is going to impact the range. You can put different wheels, different tires on it if range is your only consideration. But you gotta get it all done. Then again, Tesla Tino's driven all over the country in a Model Y that had real tires that are so aggressive that people I would talk to in California about it would look at him and go, he just put those on for the show. There's no way.
My Model Y has more aggressive wheels than my Cybertruck.
Really?
Yeah.
It's so funny. And he took that. It's got all-wheel drive. It's got fantastic traction control. Just give it a little more clearance, and you got a real capable beast.
It's nice, yeah.
Yeah. So guys, head over to Tesla Tino, see what he's up to. He's always on an adventure. He is out there busting his butt to bring you guys amazing off-road adventure lifestyle content like that. And it's a lot of fun. And I appreciate you, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
It's so great.
Nice chatting with you.
And I was telling him, I think I see him at more events than anyone else, because uniquely he'll do the East Coast and the West Coast.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will just stick to their part of the world, which is reasonable. But we are unreasonable people.
We're a little crazy.
A little crazy. So guys, in the comments, what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? What would you like to see as a feature in one of these Cybertrucks? And everybody else, like, subscribe, and stay tuned. Stay juicy. I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots when you go off-road, I guess.
Cheers.